What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be a very exciting video because we officially have paid off all of our credit card debt. Now, I made a video, I think back in August, talking about how we have $30,000 of credit card debt that we were working on paying off, and in that video I explained everything we plan to do to pay that debt off this year. And since then we've worked really hard, we've stayed focused, and we actually accomplished our goal a couple months before I originally thought we were going to be able to. If you watched my video from a couple weeks ago, then you know that we have over $300,000 of debt that was made up of student loans, car loans, and credit card debt. And we had paid off some of the credit cards and my car loan, and we were currently working on the credit card debt before we moved on to the student loans. And so this is the debt we've been really working on the most in 2020. If you haven't watched the video where I go into detail about all of our debt, over $300,000 of debt, then I will link that video right here and you can watch that. That explains all the debt we had as of January 1st, 2020 and everything we've paid off until basically October of this year. And so anyway, we had paid off some credit cards and then we consolidated the rest into a lower interest loan. We cut our interest rate in half by taking out a personal loan, and then we didn't use credit cards anymore. And that was one of the biggest things that helped us pay off the credit card debt, was stop using the credit cards. It sounds really obvious, but if you don't make that shift in your head that you're just not going to use credit cards anymore, then it's just not going to happen. And the other thing that happened this year is we both got some big raises, and I hesitate to talk about some of this stuff because I know a lot of people are struggling financially this year. I'm totally aware of that, and I'm so grateful for our financial situation, that we have been able to keep our jobs, and we got raises at the beginning of the year that has helped us really attack our debt. But I'm here to talk about it so I can share my story. But just know this is something that we have struggled with for, I took on these loans starting when I was 22 years old. I am 30, how old am I? 33 now, so this is 11 years that I have had the weight of this debt building on my shoulders. Anyway, I just feel like I needed to say that because it's something that I think about a lot, and I know how grateful I am, but not everybody who watches my videos knows me or has watched all my other videos where I have expressed that. So anyway, so basically what we had done is we had just really paid the minimum payment on our loan for most of the year, basically up until, what was it, July, and then we started paying some big payments out of savings, and then also using our monthly income, anything we had extra, to pay towards this credit card loan to get it paid off. So one thing that I started doing once we did start making extra payments is I made extra payments fairly often, and part of that was because I was just excited and anxious to get it paid off as soon as possible to minimize the amount of interest we paid, but also I felt like developing a habit of frequent payments towards this loan was going to help me get more in the habit of paying off debt and become more natural and automatic, and that way I would keep doing it and we would reach our goals. So I'm just looking right now, and it looks like, so we got our loan dispersed January of 2020. March through July, we just made the minimum payment of $585, except for in May we made 2 payments of $585. I don't know if that was an accident or what happened there. Then starting in July, when we started putting more money towards this loan because we had not been paying extra on any of our debts during COVID, when it first started, just to put a bunch of money into savings because we hadn't had a lot of money in savings since we were more focused on paying on debt. We had maybe $1,000 or $2,000 in savings. So we built up our savings, and then once we had more of an understanding how COVID was going to affect our job situation and that we could work from home and we had our jobs for the time being, we started eating into that savings that we had built up to pay off the loans. And so in July, we made 1, 2, 3 extra payments. And then in August, we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 payments, or 5 extra payments. And then September, we made 1, 2, 3. In September, we made 6 extra payments. And then October, we had our auto payment, and then our final payment. So in the several months where we were really going hard and paying off really the bulk of the loan, we were making like 4, 5, 6 extra payments each month. And that would basically mean like an extra payment every single week or more often. And I think that was really the key to paying this down, is having those like really frequent payments. So for us, we were making these large payments, but if your debt is smaller or you have less extra money to pay towards it, I still think it's worth making an extra $25 payment. I mean, not all of our payments were large. Sometimes it was $100. Sometimes it was, you know, $5,000. It just depended on like where we were at financially at that point in the month on that day and how much I thought we could put towards it, because our paychecks would come in throughout the month and we would pay bills, and I would constantly be calculating, okay, how much do we have extra right now, and how much can I throw towards this, or how low do we feel comfortable having our savings get, and what do we expect our income is going to be next month, and just balancing all that and having a lot of discussions between me and my husband about what our plan was. So my husband and I have always tried to have a weekly meeting about our budget, and that was another key to success here, is sticking to that weekly budget meeting, because if we didn't look at our budget every single week, we didn't know how much we could afford to put towards our debt every week. And so keeping up with that and being on the same page with everything and talking about it and brainstorming and looking at things from different angles was really helpful. And if you're someone who's paying off debt and you're not married, like this still would hold true. Just sitting down with your own budget every single week consistently and looking through it and making sure you're tracking everything. I like definitely feel like that was a huge part of us being able to pay off this amount of debt in the way that we did. Before, we used to have a budget, but we would meet about it like once every 2, 3, 4 weeks even, and that just wasn't enough to have a really good strategy, and it also wasn't often enough to keep track of every dollar. Like every time we would meet about the budget, we would have lost money. Like we couldn't find where $100 was spent, or $200 was spent, or $500 was spent sometimes. And it's not like we were just throwing money away on stupid stuff always, but just not tracking everything carefully. We didn't know how much we actually needed for car maintenance. We didn't know how much we actually needed for like taking care of our baby and stuff like that. So it was hard to know like how much of this extra is actually extra money versus money that really should be put aside towards future needs for something that's probably going to happen throughout the month or in the coming months. So you know, when we don't leave ourselves a lot extra otherwise, because we're throwing it all towards debt, we won't be in a situation where we don't have enough money to pay a certain bill, and then we would have to, you know, go back into debt and put it on a credit card if some other expense came up. So how does it feel to have paid off $30,000 of credit card debt? It feels amazing. It really does. And I am trying to focus on that feeling and not let all the other things in life get in the way of enjoying that. And like this is something I talk about with my therapist a lot, because I go to therapy a couple times a month, and that is that I have trouble celebrating wins. Whenever I celebrate a win, or whenever I like have a win, I celebrate it for a second and then I'm like, on to the next thing. No, I'm not satisfied. I need more. I didn't do enough. And that mentality has made me really unhappy, I've realized. And so I really am trying to like soak this in and be happy about it. But honestly, a big part of the reason why this doesn't feel as exciting as it maybe should feel is because this is just such a small piece of our total debt, and like this is what I've been trying to get out of the way so we can work on our student loan debt, which I've had for much longer. The credit card debt accumulated over the course of like 3 years, 2 to 3 years, whereas the student loan debt, like I said, has been growing since 2009. So like it's just there's more emotional baggage attached to the student loan debt, so I feel like paying that off is going to provide me more relief than the credit card debt, even though the credit card debt had a higher interest rate and you know, was bad too. And also the credit card debt, like, just to kind of give you perspective of how much debt we started with in January and how much we have paid off of credit card debt. Like, if you look at all of the credit card debt we had as of January 1st and compared to our debt total, paying all that off is only about like 9% of our total debt, which is a huge dent, and I'm totally happy about that and really, really like proud to have done that. But at the same time, like, to put it in perspective, if you had $10,000 of debt, it would be like paying off $900. So if that kind of gives you a sense of how far we have to go, like, it feels good. I'm proud of that 9% that we paid off. And we paid off more than that because we have been working on our student loans, paying the minimums, and now we're just starting to pay extra, and we paid off my car this year, so we have no car payments. So that all feels really good. Like, compared to where I thought we would be this time last year, we are miles ahead of where I thought we even could be, and I'm trying to keep that in mind and like be really proud of the progress that we've made. Like, if I had known a year ago where I would be right now, I think I would have been so stoked about that. But like, now that I'm here, I'm like, I want more, I want more. So I'm really working on like enjoying the moment, enjoying this win, and just not trying to like think too far ahead. And I think that's a problem a lot of people have, just like wanting more, wanting the next thing. I mean, that's part of what happened with accumulating the credit card debt, is like buying stuff and then not being satisfied and buying more. Now it's like paying off debt, not being satisfied and wanting more, and just thinking into the future of all this time we're wasting, like where we could be contributing big chunks of money to retirement. And anyway, I was having a lot of trouble the past like few days when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about in this video, because like I just don't want to seem unappreciative of like all the progress we've made, but I just feel like so overwhelmed and exhausted right now. And I think a lot of people feel that, especially this year with COVID. But just, you know, I wanted this to be a really fun, exciting, like super happy video and to come on here with a lot of energy, and I've been trying to psych myself up all morning up to do that, and it's just not there. And I just don't like to be fake with you guys about how I feel about stuff. So I know like paying off $30,000 of credit card debt is like a dream come true for some people, and so I don't want to like minimize anybody else's wins, but at the same time, like, this is my story and my journey, and for me this is something I'm proud of, but also like just I have so far to go to get to where I feel like I have some breathing room, where I have some security. Like, I have a family, I have a baby, I want to have another baby. Like, it does not feel good to be in a pandemic and have this much debt sitting on my shoulders and this little amount of assets, you know. And I think a lot of people are feeling that right now, and most people don't have enough money to pay for, you know, emergencies that come up, or don't have 6 months of emergency savings in their savings account in case they lose their job. And so I know I'm not alone in that, but like, we all should not have to feel that. Like, there should be opportunities and ways for us all to get in a better financial position. And I feel like there's just, you know, certain things that work against you, and part of it is your own mentality, and part of it's external factors that are really kind of out of our control. And so kind of accepting the things that are out of our control and taking charge of the things we can control is really all we can do. But yeah, now I'm getting on some philosophical tangent, and as you may be able to tell, I just have like a million thoughts swirling in my head all the time, and I have so many ideas of stuff I want to talk about, but then like to just distill it down into one video is very hard. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I appreciate you guys watching this channel. I appreciate you watching my videos. Some of you have followed me from my infertility journey. Some of you are new subscribers. I'm so happy to have all of you here. I've gotten a lot of views on my last video where I talk about my total debt, and that has really motivated me to keep talking about this topic, even though it's really hard and like kind of difficult to share. It's really helpful to me when I'm getting a good response from you guys that you're interested in hearing more about this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I generally post once a week on Mondays, and so my next video will be up next Monday, November 1st, and that will be an update on our debt paid off in the month of October, including our student loan debt, now that I've fully shared all of that with you. And so I'm excited to tell you what we've done in the month of October and what our plans are for the rest of 2020. If you like the video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel and lets me know that you like my content. And if you want to follow along and watch us pay down over $300,000 of debt, then hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye.